Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a Nest.js CRUD kind of an REST API in MongoDB database, and we will try to test this API inside our Postman tool here. Postman is a very good tool for testing REST APIs. So we will be developing this REST API inside a very good awesome framework of Node.js, which is very popular alternative of Express, which is called as Nest.js. So many of my subscribers have just asked for this video. They wanted me to make this video on Nest.js. It's a progressive Node.js framework, and it's a better alternative for Express.js. And basically, we will be building it inside TypeScript. And Nest.js is basically built um, on the side of Angular. So basically, if you know Angular, then you will not be facing any sort of problem in developing Nest.js applications, because it also uses TypeScript. It also uses modules, controllers, services, all that concept that you used in Angular. So it's a very good framework of Node.js, and it has its own official website. So it has a very good documentation, so definitely look out this Nest.js framework guides. It's a very good framework. So let me show you the API that we have built, guys. So this is a tool that I have used for testing this API, which is postman.com. So simply download this software onto your machine. So let me just show you here. This is our MongoDB database. So this is, let me show you the database which we are using here. If you see the source code, we have registered our database, guys. The name of the database is studentdb. So let me search for this database, which is studentdb. This is a database, guys. It contains this collection which is called as students. So you can see one record is there. Let me delete this record, and now you can see no records are there. So now let me just to show you how to make a very simple post request here. So automatically, let me show you this server is running here. You can now see this server is running on localhost 3000, this Nest.js application. If you open this HTTP localhost 3000, so Nest.js application is running here. You can now see. So now in order to create a new users, guys, inside your Postman, basically we will be making a post request HTTP localhost 3000 and slash student. And basically here we need to pass the header, guys, which is called as content type is equal to application JSON. And inside the body, guys, inside you need to select here raw. So you just need to select raw here, and here you need to give the name of the student. Let me give John here, and then we also need to give it some more attributes here. So basically, if you see inside our application, wherever we are creating this user here, inside our let's suppose we go to the services here. We can look at the schema here. Basically, we have defined these properties here, which is name, which is of type string, roll number is number, class is number, gender string, and marks is also number. So we also need to provide this roll number here also. So the next property will be roll number, and this will be equal to an integer. So I will put here 11. So this is a JSON object, guys. That's why we are providing this double quotes here. The next property we will put here is the class, which is also a number. I will put here 12. And then we have the gender, guys, which is a string value. So in this case, I will put male. And the next property, guys, here will be marks. So basically you can put marks here, let's suppose 98. So this is our JSON object, guys. You need to provide the header here. Basically inside your Postman content type is equal to application JSON. Simply take this option, and now we are making a simple post request. So if I send this request, guys, you will now see basically it is saying that status code roll number should not be empty. Roll number must be a number confirming to the specified constraint. Let me see what is the problem here. So if you see the basically, guys, it's a number, sorry, n needs to be capital. That's why it has created this problem. This n needs to be capital. So if I again send this request, guys, you will see student has been created successfully, name, roll number, class, gender, marks. So this REST API is returning this JSON response, guys. You can obviously see this. This is a great tool, Postman. It lets you test out REST APIs without having to build any sort of front end. So it makes the process very much easy. If you check your MongoDB database, if you try to refresh it, you will see one entry has been successfully created. This ID parameter will be automatically generated by MongoDB. You did not have to insert it. We have the name, roll number, class, gender, marks. If you change this JSON object, like guys, let's suppose we want to generate another one. If I write here, let's suppose Kane, I change the roll number and I change the class to, let's suppose, 10th class male, and let me change the marks to 88. Click send. Another student is created. If I refresh it, now you will see two students will be there, guys. You can now see two students are there. So in this way, guys, you can create a record inside the database MongoDB using Nest.js API. Now we will be looking at how to basically get all the records. So we basically will make a simple get request. Here we will not be passing this parameter. Just neglect this. We are not passing content type application JSON. And inside the body also delete this. So simply we are getting all the students which are present. So simply send this request. You will see it will result. It will return all the data which is present inside the database. All students data found successfully. So this is an array of objects which are returning here. Two objects will be returned here because two records are there. Name John and name Kane. So simply these two records are returning here. So simply we can read all the data. So this is a read operation. So we can create records, we can read records. And the next operation, guys, in order to update this, so for updating, we will have a put request now. So updation is modifying the data which is present inside the database. So we will be doing it by the ID. So student slash ID. So automatically, let's suppose we want to modify this data. So we will simply copy this ID here, which is generated by MongoDB. Simply we will pass this ID like this. And again, we need to pass this header, which is content type application JSON. So now inside our body, guys, we need to, inside our raw, basically we need to put the modified name. So let's suppose I go pick here Gautam, and whichever property we need to modify, we'll put this. And let's suppose we want to say, I want to change the class to 5. And we also need to change the marks to, let's suppose, 1000. So we need to change only these three properties, guys: name, class, and marks. Click on send. Now you will see student has been successfully updated. So you can see we are successfully applying the updation process as well. If you refresh your MongoDB database, you will see the name will be changed here from John to Gautam, and roll number is equal to 11. So in this case, you can see that all the records is updated successfully. So now lastly, the operation, guys, which is remaining is delete operation. So from Postman, we will choose the delete button here. And now to basically the request will be the same. We need to pass the ID here, whichever record we need to delete. So let's suppose I want to delete this record. So simply I will paste this unique ID which is there inside this record. I will control C, copy this and paste this ID here like this. So for this we don't need the content type application JSON header. So simply delete this, and inside we also don't need this. So we are simply putting a delete request to delete this record. So simply if I click send, you will see student deleted successfully. So we have successfully deleted the student, guys. If I refresh the database, you will now see that student will be deleted. Only one record is there inside the database. So this is the REST API that we want to develop, guys, inside Nest.js. Step by step, I will be showing you how to do this process. For this entire process, guys, I have written a complete blog post on my tutorial website, webninjadeveloper.com. So it's a very detailed blog post. I have explained each instruction in detail. So if you want to get all the source code, I will highly recommend that you read this blog post alongside with watching the video. So all the source code is given by in step-by-step instruction, explaining each instruction in detail. So basically I have given this link in the description of this live stream and also in the live chat also. I have put this link in the live chat also. So let's start building this Nest.js CRUD API, guys, from scratch. So basically, first of all, I will go into my React.js project folder, and basically I will make a new directory which is Nest.js CRUD. I will cd into this. open this inside our Visual Studio Code text editor. So basically this is our folder guys in which we will be developing the application. So very first time guys, in order to be installing or creating any sort of project, you need to be installing the CLI for Nest.js globally inside your system. So if you are doing it for the very first time, if you don't know Nest.js, if you install it for the very first time, the instruction is very easy. Just go to your command line and simply you need to type the command which will automatically globally install Nest.js inside your system. So at the rate nestjs slash CLI. So this is the CLI system guys. Every framework has its own CLI. So you first of all need to install this CLI before you create any sort of project. I have already created this, install this. So now to create a new Nest.js project guys, you will write here nest. If you enter it, basically these are all the commands which are available to you while creating. You can create a interceptor, interface, middleware, module, pipe, provider, resolver, all these services, uh, gateway, guard, decorator, controller, all these things you can create this by this command. In this case we need to create a brand new project, so we will simply say nest new, then followed by the project name. So let's suppose I say nest CRUD project, nest CRUD. So basically it will first of all ask you this question, that which package manager you would you like to use. Three options are there: npm, yarn, and pnp. So npm is the default one, so it's the most popular one, so we will enter. So basically it will install all the packages guys which will be required for building a very basic Nest.js application. So it will hardly take 5 to 10 seconds depending upon your internet connections. So simply wait. And if you're watching it for the very first time guys, please hit that like button, subscribe the channel. I am seeing people are not liking the content in a few videos. So I am requesting you, please hit that like button, subscribe the channel to get all these quality videos daily. After it creates this project guys, we will go into this project. So simply wait, it is creating it. So basically it is just creating it, installation in progress. So once it is completed, we will be going into the folder and basically install the Mongoose library. So now you can see it has successfully installed this. So first of all, we need to go into the folder which will be nest CRUD. So if you see inside our uh, code here, Visual Studio Code, it has created this project directory. So if you closely look guys, it is familiar with the, if you studied Angular framework, you will be knowing this directory structure: app controller, app module.ts. So all these files are also available inside your Angular projects as well. If you have studied Angular, you will be very familiar with this. So it's very much Angular like, feel like. So it also uses TypeScript. It also support, it has Nest.js also has support for JavaScript, but its main language is TypeScript. So after this guys, we need to install one package which is Mongoose package. Mongoose is basically a library which interacts with our MongoDB database. You need to install this at the rate nestjs slash mongoose and also the Mongoose library. Simply install these two packages guys, so it will be required for this application. So after this guys, we will be now be starting the application. Now to start your Nest.js application, this is a command which is npm run start colon. We need to start it in a development server. So we will say dev. So this will start your application at localhost 3000 guys. So it will compile the application. You will now see it is saying that it is already in use 3000 route. So basically what we will say, we will first of all stop this server. So now once again we will run this. So hopefully this time this will run at localhost 3000. It has started compilation. So no errors are there guys. So basically if I open this my project which is there on localhost 3000, basically this is a test project that it gives you hello world statement. So this is our Nest.js application which is running on the browser site. So the very next thing guys we need to do guys, we need to simply go to our app.module.ts file, and first of all we need to import our mongoose module. So here we will need to import from @Nest.js, which the module which we have installed, which is Mongoose. And from this, guys, we need to import the Mongoose module. So then we also need to, guys, inst add this inside our imports array. We will simply say mongoose module dot for root. And here, guys, what we need to do is that we need to write the string here, which will be called as MongoDB / localhost. So 27017. So if you are using it on our personal computer, guys, MongoDB uses default port number, which is 27017. Also that after that, we also need to provide the database name wherever you will be doing this. So provide the database name, guys. So this will be called as, let me create a new database which will be Nest.js Nest CRUD. This will be the database name, guys. So right here inside our MongoDB, let me create a brand new database. Simply, in order to disconnect it, you will disconnect. And now click on connect. And inside your database section, create the database, which is NestDB. And connection, let me say user. So we have successfully created the database, guys. So Nest CRUD, I think. If you closely look, this is called as next NestDB, sorry, NestDB. Let me rename this NestDB. This is our database which is created, guys. So we are here, we are writing this line, that's it. So basically it is just telling Nest.js that we need to include this database. We are making the connection. So we need to register this inside our app.module.ts file. So this file is for registration purposes. Then, guys, we need to create a brand new folder where we will be storing our schema. So just make a schema folder, and inside this application is for students. So we will rename this file to student schema.ts. So basically inside this file, guys, what we need to do is that basically we need to import three things here, which is the actual prop, the schema, and also the schema factory. So these are the three methods we need to import, and this needs to be imported from Nest.js. This is the package which we need to say Nest.js, Mongoose. So it is coming through the Mongoose library, guys, prop schema factory. So now we need to define the actual schema, guys, which is called as we need to say export class student. So inside this class, guys, we need to define all the variables which will be there. So this needs to be a function. So just put this function here. So prop stands for, guys, property. So there will be first property of name, which will be of type string. There will be another property which will be of type roll number, which is also of type string. And there will be also be another prop here, which will be for the class. So basically it will be for class, and it will also be a number, I think. Yeah, number. Roll number will also be a number, guys. I put head string. And then we also need to have another prop, guys. This time this will be gender, and this will be of type string. And then also, guys, we will have marks, which is equal to number. That's it. So this is our schema file, guys, which is ready. Now we simply need to export this schema. So we will say export const student schema. We will declare a new variable in order to export this. So schema factory, and here we will use this method which is create for class, and here we will pass the class name which is called as student. This is your class name, guys. We are converting this to a schema factory, and here we are creating the class and store it inside student schema. So after preparing this file, guys, we also need to uh, register it inside the app.module.ts files. So simply inside this, we will be importing the schema file. So we will simply say import from, and this will be there inside the schema folder and student schema. So from this, we will be importing the student schema because we are exporting it. If you see closely, guys, we are exporting the student schema variable. So that's why we are importing this class here. So after that, guys, we can simply say there is a second interest here inside the we will have a basically again we will say mongoose module. Here we will be basically we will be adding a feature to it, to the mongoose, which is for feature. And inside this, guys, basically inside square brackets we will put the name of the uh, connection here, which will be student. It will automatically get created, and then we will be putting a schema. So schema will be equal to student schema. You can now see basically here we are putting the collection name, guys, which will be automatically created inside this table. And let's it will be automatically created. As you see inside the student db, you will see students will be automatically created. So it will also happen same inside our this one also, which is next CRUD NestDB. So after this, guys, you can see it is saying I think we need to expect a comma. Yeah, we need to put a comma after this. Put a comma here, guys. Just put a comma inside your imports array. So that's it, guys. This is all that you need to do right here inside this file. I think it's complete. Okay, yeah. So this is all that you need to do in, so guys, inside app.module.ts file. That's it. Now we will move to the next step, guys, which is for creating a simple interface folder. So right here inside your source folder, guys, just create a interface folder, and here we will be creating a simple interface which is called as student.interface.ts. So inside this interface, guys, we will be basically be storing all the details securely. We will import the document from Mongoose. So we will export this interface, export interface. We will call this as iStudent. I stands for interface student, extends the document. So inside this, we will only have read-only fields, guys, which will be name of type string. We will also have a roll number, which is of type string. So here you need to basically, guys, if you see roll number, so n should be capital here. So sorry, this comma needs to not did not have to be there. So then we will be having another read only field, guys, which will be class, and this will also be type of number, and this needs to be a number, guys, not a string. So that's it. Let me see, guys, what is the problem occurring here. Sometimes it can be typing mistakes inside TypeScript, guys. You can see I'm just writing the same code, but it was giving me some error. So you can see we are importing the document from Mongoose, and basically we are extending this document, and we are providing some fields here, which is name, roll number, class, gender, marks. So you can define all the fields, guys, depending upon your own application inside this interface. So these are only read-only fields. You cannot modify or change the value inside them. You can only read it. So next we need to now install some dependencies guys inside our Next.js project. So we need to install this class validator. This is all useful for validating your data. Class validator, class transformer, and then we need to basically these two things we need to install guys, and just install it. So basically it is saying npm I class validator, and this is class transformer, sorry, class transformer. And also we need to write nest.js uh, slash mapped types. So these are the three libraries guys that you will need for this project. So just after this, sorry, the spelling mistake is there, so this needs to be mapped types. So now you can see that guys it has installed these dependencies. So now we will be creating a data transfer object guys, which is obviously called as DTO. Basically it tells you what is the information will be there inside an object to transfer them into the data. So if you just type here what is DTO object, this is nothing but a data transfer object. So basically whenever you are sending the object through the network, basically it will tell you which information is contained inside it. So that's why we are creating this file here. So right here, just create a new folder inside your root directory, sorry, source directory DTO. So inside this, we will simply say our create student dot dts dot TypeScript. So now basically guys, from the name itself, this will be the file which will be containing the data. Sorry, this needs to be DTO, data transfer object. This needs to be DTO, data transfer object. So whenever we are creating a new student by building a post request, so we need to insert new items inside our MongoDB database. So inside these objects, guys, first of all, we will be saying that we will be first of all exporting the class create students. So you can see we need to create this class, guys, which is called as create student, create student DTO. So this is a data transfer object. So basically here we will tell guys the validation part, basically whether it's a string or not a string. It will be coming from the class validator. It's a function basically. Basically it checks whether the input string is a string or not. You can see checks if the given value is a real string or not. Basically it's a decorator. If you doesn't know what are decorators guys, definitely I will say you need to learn Nest.js from scratch. And then we have various decorators out there, which is first for checking the maximum length. So this also comes from the class validator. Simply say maximum length. And then we have another decorator guys is not empty. So basically it checks for the non-empty fields here. So if the field is empty, we will not be inserting that is not empty. So after this guys, basically we will have a read only field, which is of type of name, which will be of type string. So we have this one input field out there, and we have a list of basically decorators out there, which is basically it checks if the given text is a string or not, maximum length is not empty. So after this guys, what we need to do is that is not empty. So the value we haven't provided, it is saying Another one will be again is number. Is no. Let me just paste it, guys. This can occur, guys, in TypeScript because it you say quick fix. So now you can see that quick fix. So all this is coming through class validator, guys. All these decorators function that are used here for class validation, it is coming through class validator package. If you just basically search for this package, it's a very good package which contain all these decorator functions. So which performs the form validation for you automatically. So it's a decorator based property based classes. You can see 1 million weekly downloads are there. So it contains a lot of decorator functions that you can use inside your TypeScript application. You can apply this directly on the input field. You can put a length of 10 to 20 characters, whether it contains some kind of text also. These are all the decorators which are available for form validation. So if you're watching it for the very first time, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So basically, 7 people are watching the stream. So after these decorators, guys, we will be for now doing it for the other field out there, which is again we will checking for whether it's a number. Again, we will check if it's not empty. So we will do it. We will update this is number. You can see we have updated it 2 times. Sometimes it can create some problem, guys. So what I can do is that basically I can paste this code here like this. These are all the decorator functions which are there. So like this, guys, so we have 4 fields out there. So basically this is a name, this is roll number, this is class, gender, marks. 5 fields are there. So these are the decorators for name, these are the decorators for roll number. It should be a number, and it should not be empty. And same goes for class as well. It should be a number, it should not be empty. And for the gender, we are checking that maximum length should be 30. It can't be greater than 30. It should not be empty, and it should be a string. And for the marks, we have 2 selectors. It should be a number and it should not be empty. So these are the decorator functions which are there for class validation, guys. It's just coming from class validator function. So now this is great over, guys. This file is over. So now we need to create a next file out there which is called as inside the DTO folder. We need to create this file which is called as the next file we will create here, which is called as update student.dto.typescript. So this will be specifically be used for updating a student. The previous file for is for creating a new student. So that's why we have put this all these validation fields out there. So now we will be having update student. So inside the update student, guys, we will again have a export class which is update student DTO, and we will be extending this class, guys, which will be created. We have created this class. We will use the partial type. It will be coming from Nest.js map types. So inside this partial type, guys, you need to pass our class which we have created, create student DTO. It will be coming from this file, and that's it. This is all that you need to write inside this file, guys. We are extending this functionality which we have defined inside create student. So this all will be available inside this file also, because we are using the extends keyword here. So that's it. So now this is over, guys. So now we need to now create our go to main.ts file. So main.ts file which is there inside your NestJS project, and here we need to add our form validation. So first of all we need to add the validation pipe. This will be coming from NestJS common module, and inside this we have this validation pipe, guys, operator validation pipe. And now we need to use this validation pipe inside app.use global pipes. Inside this, we need to pass here new validation pipes. That's it, new validation pipe. This is a function. That's it, guys. This is all that you need to modify inside main.ts. This is step-by-step instruction, guys, in order to create a CRUD REST API inside Nest.js. Simply close this. Now we need to generate our service, guys. So you can simply go to your command line, simply stop the server, simply generate this service by the nest generate service, and the service name will be student because it is based upon a student REST API. Simply execute this. Now it will create a student folder, guys. In the left hand side, if you see, it has created this folder. It contains these two files, which are student service.typescript and student service. This is for testing purposes. We will be manipulating, writing the code inside this file. So if you see app.module.ts file, guys, it has automatically included this service. You will see it has automatically added this service. Nest.js automatically done for us. In it has added this service inside the providers array. This is the same, guys. In Angular also, we declared the component services by the same command that we used inside Nest.js. It is typically based upon Angular applications. So if you have studied Angular framework, it will be easy for you. Now will be writing this service, guys, which we have created, guys. We will say student service.typescript. So in the very first step, guys, we will write all the methods which will be there for actually creating the student, updating the student, deleting the student, or reading all the student from the Mongoose library. For this, guys, first of all, we need to import some modules which we need to there. First of all, this class will be injectable. So here inside this, we will have a constructor function, and inside constructor function, guys, we will have our inject model class. So basically, this will be inject model, and here we will be injecting a model, guys, which will be called as student. And basically, guys, this will be a private variable, private student student model. This will be of type student model, and model I student. So this will be imported from that interface, guys, which we have defined. If you closely look here, we have defined the interface of simply put this curly brackets out there for interface. So now we need to import this model, guys. Simply we need to import from Mongoose. This, you can see, inject model will be coming from Nest.js Mongoose, and that's it. This is our constructor, guys. Now we need to write the different kinds of methods, guys. First of all, we will write for creating a new student, inside MongoDB. So for creating a new student, this will be a async function, guys. We need to create a new function which will be create student. Inside this, basically, we will be expecting an object which will be create student DTO. This is the reference we will be there, and this will be create student DTO. This will be coming from the create student DTO file. If you closely look inside our DTO folder, data transfer object, we are importing this file, guys. We have exported this class create student DTO. So here we are importing it inside our service. So you can see we are importing it. So this will be of type that create student. This C needs to be small, guys. So that's why. And basically this returns a promise, guys, because this is a async function, so it returns a promise. And it will be of type interface student. So this interface we have included, so set of curly brackets. So right here, if you see what why it is giving me error. So basically it is saying that a function whose declared type is neither void nor any must return a value. So here it is saying that you need to return some value here. So if you return some value, basically the error will gone. So now we need to return something from this function. That's why it is giving me that error. So now first of all, guys, we need to create a student. We need to create a reference. So we will simply create a variable new student. And this will be equal to, guys, as this is a async function, we can use a await keyword inside this function. So here, inside this, what we need to do is that we need to create a new record. So what we can do is that we can call new, and in Mongoose library, guys, this contains a method which is this dot student model, and here we can pass the model, which is we need to create a new student. So here we can pass create student DTO. That's it. So this will create a new student, guys. Now we simply need to save this. So we can simply return new student, and we can call a function of Mongoose which is called as save. This will actually save the new reference to the table. So it will save a new student. That's it. So we can delete this return statement here. That's it. This is the function, guys, which is required for creating a new student. So basically you can now see. So now this is over. Now we will define the second function, guys, which will be actually be reading all the students from the database from MongoDB. So this will be again be a async function. We will call this function as get all students, and it will again return a promise. So as this is a async function, and it will be returning an array of students right here, because this will return all the students which are present inside the database. So this will be interface student, and this will be an array of type like this. So like this. So now we need to get the all the student data. So we will simply say student data. We will await this dot student model, and basically we can use the Mongoose. There are a find method which is available, which finds all the records which are present inside the table. And now we will first of all check if this student data is empty. In that case, we need to or the student data length is 0. In either of these cases, we perfectly know that this doesn't contain any sort of data. In that case, we can simply throw a new not found exception. Not found exception. Here we can simply say student data not found. That's it. So it is saying exceptions are not there. We can add these exceptions, guys, not found exception from Nest.js common. So these exceptions are available. If the data is available, guys, then in that case we can simply return the student data. That's it. This error will be gone here like this. So we are now getting all the students as well. So the third method, guys, basically we can get a specific student. Now if I want to get a specific student here by its ID, so we will be using this method by its ID. This will be again be a async function, guys. This time we will be getting a single student, so get student, and here we will provide the ID, student ID, which will be of type string. And basically this will be returning a simple promise, guys, and it will be again be a interface student type, and like this. So it will be, as this is returning the array of students, now in this case it is returning only a single student. So now inside this, first of all we need to find that student, which is saying we will say that existing student, and here we will use the await keyword that, as this is the async function, this dot student model, and this contains a method, guys, inside Mongoose library, which is find by ID. So we will find the record by the ID provided, guys. So we will pass the student ID which is provided in the function as the argument, and then we will check inside the if condition. If the existing student is not found, in that case we can throw a error that no not found exception. And here we can simply state that the student, we can use a backtick symbol, template student, and student ID not found. That's it. So that's all that we need to write, guys. And if the student record has been found, in that case we can return the existing student. That's it. This is all very simple, guys. From Mongoose library, it makes it very much easy working with MongoDB database. It contains all the methods for performing these four operations. Now we will be coming at how to delete a student by using its ID. So we will again have a async function, guys. This time this will be delete student, And here we will be expecting again the student ID to be passed as an argument, which will be of type string. This will again return a promise, and it will be again of the type interface student. And in this, basically here we will have the deleted student. We will store this deleted student here, deleted student, and await this dot student model. And this contains a method, guys, which is called as find by id and delete. This is a method which is there inside Mongoose library, guys. If you have studied Mongoose library, we will pass the student ID, and again we will check that if the deleted student is not found, then we will simply say throw new not found exception. And here we will simply say again this inside backtick symbol, student not found, not found. That's it. If the deleted student was found, in that case we can simply return the deleted student which was deleted from the database. Now coming back to the most last operation, guys, which is for updating existing user, updating existing student using its id. So now this will again be a async function, guys. So this will be the name of the function which we update student, and here we will again be getting the student id by a string. And one more thing, guys, in update student, basically you also need to pass the data which you want to update. So in this case, we will pass the second argument, which will be called as update student DTO. We will be basically, this will be of the type update student DTO. So this will be automatically imported, guys. You will see this file will automatically get imported from the source folder. So once again, it will return a promise, guys. Basically, we will simply say promise, and this will return the inside your I student interface student of the type interface student, like this. So right here, guys, basically what we need to do is that inside this we will simply now existing student, we will declare this variable existing student, and again we will simply await and this dot user model student model dot find by id. This contains this method, guys, which is called as find by id and update. This is a method which is there inside Mongoose library. You need to pass the student id here, and also you need to pass the data which is there inside our update student DTO, update student DTO, update student DTO. What I did, I think I have made a mistake here. This U needs to be smaller. So here we need to pass here, which is update student DTO, and the next parameter new is equal to true. So here we need to create a new record. That's why we are passing new to true here. So we are modifying the existing data. So that's why we are putting new to true. That's it. So now again we will compare it inside the if condition, guys. If the updation process is not done, it will return null. So in this case, we will simply provide a if condition. If existing student is not there, then we'll be throwing a new not found exception. Inside this, once again we will say student uh, student ID not found. That's it. But if the student was found, if it was successfully updated, then we will be returning this existing student. That's it. So that's all, guys. This is all the methods that we have defined inside the service. This is all that it is directly interacting with the database all using the Mongoose library. Now we just need to create the controller basically it will map these methods to the actual request that we will put. Whenever we make the get request, this method will be called, which is get all students. When we make a post request to create a new student, this method will be called. So now we just need to make that controller file. When we make a delete request, then this method will be called. When we make a update request, put request, then this method will be called. So for this we need to make the controller file, guys. So now to make the controller, it's very easy. When we make the services, we put this command nest generate controller followed by the name. In this case we will put here student. That's it. So in the same folder of student, two more files will be generated, guys. You will now see this is for controller, student controller.ts, student controller specification.ts. This is for testing purposes, but here we will write our controller code. So controller code is also very easy, guys. So here we just need to uh, do the request here. Depending upon which request is made, we need to call the appropriate function. So right here inside this function controller, we also have the constructor. So inside this constructor, guys, we have private read only, and inside this we will be importing our services. So here this inside this controller we will be calling the services method. So that's why we need to import the service student service. It will be automatically imported it from the same file. You can see import student service. So we are importing it. That's it. Very simple. So just close the curly brackets. That's it. After this, guys, we need to define our post method. So now one this is a decorator, guys, which is post decorator. So this post decorator function will be there. So we need to first of all inside this from Nest.js common, we need to first of all declare sorry import all these decorators, which will be post, put, response, and param. All these will be there. HTTP status. So all these helpful keywords we will import from Nest.js, guys. Delete also for the delete method, and we will also import our get method. I think we have not imported get method also. And next we will also import the body as well, guys. Body, and also the controller we have already got. That's it. So this is all that we will need, guys, from here. Controller, post, put, response, param, http status. That's it. So after this, guys, we will simply say we will call this post here. This will be a post request here. We are making it by using this decorator, and then this will be a simple async method which will be create student. And basically inside this, guys, create student, we will put the decorators first of all for the response, and this will be response here, and then we will have the actual body. This will be the create student DTO. Sorry, this will be create student DTO. This will be of the type create student DTO. So this file we need to import create student DTO. You can now see it has successfully imported. You can see create student DTO file has already been imported here. So inside this, guys, uh, what is this? Quick fix. Change spelling to. Sorry, this did not have to be inside curly brackets. So just close this curly brackets here. That's it. So right here, guys, inside this post request, we need to write all the code inside the try catch block, so that if any sort of error take place, we can show this error inside our catch block. So basically, if any sort of error take place, we can simply say response.status. We can return a HTTP status of bad request, like this, bad request. And then we will be sending a JSON response. In, we will simply say status code will be of 400. And we can even send out a message to the user that error student not created. That's it. We can put the error bad request. That's it. So now we need to write this code inside try catch block, guys. So basically const, we will create a new student. Basically we will call this method await this dot student service, and this contains a method to create a student, brand new student, and here we will pass the create student DTO. That's it. After this we will return the response. We will call the status, and here in this case we will call the http status dot created, and this will be, we will be converting to the JSON response here, and we will be returning a simple message to the user that student has been created successfully. That's it. And then we will also return the student as well, put a comma and new student. That's it. That's all, guys. This is the create student post request is now working. So what if I can do is that basically now to create a student, if I start this here, npm run start :dev. If I start this server, basically it will now start compilation mode. And if you see parameter student model of constructor from exported class has using private model. In which file? Student service.ts. Let me see. Uh, control quick fix. So we need to import this model as well, guys. So from Mongoose library. So this is very much required. So simply import this statement, import module or model from Mongoose. And now if you do this, you will see no error will be there. So if you make this request, guys, right here inside this post request, if I make this request here to localhost 3000 slash student, this is the request we are making here. If you see, we have written this code of inside of a controller file. Basically we are, if you see here, basically this is for the post method, basically here inside your service as well. So this is the model, actual model we have created. So basically if you now see, if you're watching it for the very first time, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So basically if I make a request here, post request, and if I set the headers to content type application JSON and put a body, so inside the body you will provide all the parameters which are required for this. Let me provide the JSON parameters, which is name parameter will be John, and I put a parameter of roll number uh, 34, and then I put a class which is equal to 5. Then I put a gender which will be equal to male. Then I put a marks parameter which is equal to 100, and if I click send, basically now you will see student has been created successfully. You will now see, and if I check my database, basically this has the database which we have created, which is called as student, not no student DB. Let me create, see next nest DB. You will see, guys, nest DB. Basically inside nest DB, if I refresh it now, basically you can see a student's table has been successfully created, and it contains this one record that we created using this post request. This automatically created this ID to us. You can see the ID, roll number, class, gender, marks. So one request is now working, perfectly working. It is calling this method which is called as create student. It is creating a new model here. It is calling this, and it is saving it. Now inside the controller file, guys, we need to write a second request here which will be coming a get request. Basically a get request is simply the request to get all the data which is stored inside the database. So here we will be saying get students. So get students basically is the method. So here we will put the response, and the response will be there like this. So as you can see, we this is the create student, and now we are putting the get students. So inside get students guys, again we will wrap the code inside try catch. So try catch. So we can return a simple response dot status error dot status, and then basically we will use the JSON error dot response. That's it. So you can see that. So inside the try block guys, we can simply say the student data, whatever student data is present. We can use this student service, and it contains a method which called get all students. And after this, we can return this response dot status http status dot ok, and then we can convert this to a JSON, which is simply we can put a message that all students data found successfully, and then we can even return the data, so which is student data, which will be an array of objects. So when we now make a simple get request guys, if I change it to get and simply remove this, we are not passing it, simply remove the headers as well, click send, you will now see all students data found successfully. This is, you can see all, it's an array of objects because only one record is present right here, that's why it is returned right here. This is your get request, and basically now we will move to the next record guys, which is simply for the update user. So now if you want to update the user, you will put a put request guys, so you will put slash id like this, you can see that slash id. So here we will provide the ID as well. So this will be a async function. We will simply say update student, and basically this will be update. Yeah, this will be the function here, which will be update student. Can call this update student, and basically it will be having the response. And also guys, you can see we are providing a parameter of id inside the address path, so that we will also need to use the param decorator here, and inside this we will pass the id parameter, so that we are doing this id. So basically this is for the student id, this will be of type string, and also we are taking the body as well, body decorator. This will be in update student dto, update student dto. This will be of the type update student dto. Some error is there guys, I think I made a mistake in writing this stuff. Let me refresh it, paste it here. You can see that this is the async function here. uh, what is the error here? Uh, I think guys, what is the error right here? Let me see. Oh, I think we haven't closed out the function, previous function, that was the error. So we need to close out the function guys, that was the error. You can now see. So we will now put the error, put, and this will be received as a parameter ID, and async, we will update the user guys, update student here, and basically we will get the response here, and response. We will use the params here also, because we are taking the parameter as a in the address bar, which is id. So we will put the id here like this, and then we will say student id, which will be of type string here, and we will also have the body decorator guys, which will be having update student dto, and update student dto. So you can see that guys, we have this function here. Basically, if you make a put request here, put the ID of which record you want to update here, this function will get called. Inside this function guys, we need to surround your code inside try catch block. If any sort of error take place, we need to return the response in a JSON. Simply do this like this. So now inside try catch block guys, basically we will make existing student variable, and simply we will call this service method, this dot student service. It contains a method called as update student. We will call this method, and basically we will pass the student ID. First of all, we will pass the ID, student ID we will pass, and second parameter we will pass is the update student DTO. That's it. So after this guys, we can simply return out a simple message to the user that your data has been successfully updated. HTTP status okay, JSON, your student has been successfully updated. So lastly guys, we will be putting a simple delete request here. Delete is very easy. We will put a delete request here. Delete, again we will pass it as a ID, and this will be async delete student function which will get called, and basically it will have the response, and here we are passing the param ID, and inside the body we will have uh, I think we don't have the body here, so that's why. So this needs to be a function. So inside delete student guys, again we need to wrap all the code inside our try catch block if any sort of error take place. So here basically in order to delete a student, we will say deleted student. We will call the service method await this dot uh, student service, and it contains a method which is delete student. We will use this method and simply pass the ID which we have got, which is student ID. So here, sorry, here we need to provide the student ID, which will be of type string. That's it. So here we need to pass the student ID, which we got student ID. That's it. So after after deleting the student guys, simply we will simply return out a simple message once again, response dot status, and here we will put the HTTP status of OK, and we will convert this response to JSON, and the message will be simply student deleted successfully, and then we will pass the deleted student here like this, and if any sort of error take place we can also do like this. So if you want to delete a student guys, it is very simple. You put a delete request here. If you want to update this, first of all you would put here, and you need to pass the ID. Let's suppose I want to update this value. I will copy paste it here and put the headers here, content type. Inside body we will put the JSON object. So I need to change the name here. Let's suppose to Gautam. So if I change this name here, click send. Date student has been successfully updated. You will now see the name has changed to Gautam. Here you can now see. If I want to delete this record, I will put delete here. Remove the header and remove this. Student deleted successfully. So you can see that. So these are the 4 operations we have successfully performed on this API guys using Postman. And one other request is also there. If you want to get a specific user ID information by its ID, you can also write the function. This will also be a simple get request. So here we are providing the ID of the student which we need to access the information. So basically it will get the student by its ID. That's it. So this is the REST API guys that we have developed inside Nest.js. So many of the subscribers were asking for this video. because this is a very good framework which is based upon Angular. So if you have studied Angular, you have studied how Nest.js is very popularity. So I think you should definitely invest some time in learning Nest.js. It is very popular framework and it is compatible with all the databases, MySQL, MongoDB. So it's a really good framework. So definitely use it. And I will also upload more videos on Nest.js in the upcoming tutorials. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So all the source code is given in the live chat. You can go to the source code. And if you have any sort of questions related to this project, you can ask in the comment section if you understood or are you doing daily live? Yes. Any questions you need to ask here, you can ask it.